All right, welcome to the Pig in a Pickle Krueg Show. I'm Larry Krueger, and of course, we're brought to you by Pig in a Pickle, best barbecue in Northern California. Check them out in Emeryville, Wednesday through Sunday. They're open in Emeryville. They're open 7 days a week in Corte Madera from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Pig in a Pickle, mouth-watering barbecue. Get your brisket chili, the potato salad. It's all phenomenal. Thank you to Damon and Mary, the owners of Pig and a Pickle, for being a proud sponsor of The Krueg Show. All right, let's get to our NFL mock draft 2.0. Now, we're going to do one every week between now and the draft. We did one last week. And in the one last week, guys, we, I did it on a different mock draft. It wasn't this same mock draft website. It was a different mock draft, and it just gave a lot of trade options. It gave you like 6 or 7 trade options every single pick that you had. And I took advantage of several of the trades, and I kept trading back and moving picks around. And so I wound up with 18 selections. And I wound up not only with 18 selections, I also gained 7 selections for next year's draft. So if that draft could have been done, would be a bonanza. But several people panned it and like, oh, they don't need 18 guys, so on and so forth. And this is unrealistic, blah, 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 blah. I get it. So today on Mock Draft 2.0, we're gonna see the trades that are out there, but for the most part, I think we're going to, you know, probably just pick and pick. We're not going to trade. We're not going to trade back. We're not going to trade up. We're just going to take the Niners picks where they're at. We're going to look at the board and we're going to take the best players. So let's do it. I put it on fast mode. We're going 7 rounds, and away we go. All right, here we go. Bryce Young went number 1. Of course, the Niners don't pick till 99, so even though it's going fast, we're seeing a lot of names come off the board, and a lot of those are good, very good football players. Now we're in the 90s. Boom, we're here at 99. All right, so the Chargers have called, and they're offering the 125th pick, 156th pick, and the 4th round pick next year for 99 and 173. But because we're not going to do trades. We're going to reject that, and we'll just go to the board. All right, so they have the pick number 99, and let's see best available, and let's run it down. Now, Israel Abanaconda was a running back that they just looked at, and he's got great measurables. Sounds really exciting. But man, I don't think the Niners can start their draft with a running back, even though best available. But I like that name, so I'll remember that one. Israel Abanaconda. Do I want him? Tyler Steen, the offensive tackle from Alabama, position of need, former defensive lineman, started at Vanderbilt, transferred to Bama. He's on the board. Very interesting. I really like this linebacker from Texas, DeMarvion Overshone. Great name, but he's also a hell of a player. Big linebacker with a lot of instincts. Tanner McKee is there. If they wound up making a move at quarterback, would they be interested in Tanner McKee? I like Jonathan Mingo. He's there from Ole Miss. Zach Harrison, the edge rusher from Ohio State that Jordan Elliott wrote about on Niners Nation, is sitting right there. Jair Brown, I think, is a very good safety. Nick Hampton is an edge rusher with blazing speed. I love Nick Hampton's speed coming off the edge. McClendon Curtis is a player that I really like, an offensive lineman from Tennessee Chattanooga. Bryce Ford Wheaton, wide receiver, burner, ran 4.38 out of West Virginia. Jamie Robinson, safety, Florida State. All right. They even looked at Isaiah Land, an edge rusher from Florida A&M. They met with him, though he's a little light. He's like 235. Oluwatimi, Olusegun Oluwatimi, the center from Michigan, the Outland Trophy winner. He's sitting there. Trey Dean is a safety that's very athletic. I like him. Jaron Hall, the quarterback. All right, so just looking at those 20 picks and just looking at best available, I'm going with the 5-star recruit. I'm going with Zach Harrison, coached by the same guy who coached Nick Bosa. Zach Harrison was a 5-star recruit. He's 6'4", 275. He ran 4.47 in the on-campus workout a year ago. I don't know what he ran at the combine, but I mean, he's cooking. So I'm taking Zach Harrison. It's a position of need. I think he can start opposite Nick Bosa. I think he's better than Cleveland Farrell. He's better than Austin Bryant. He's better. I think. I hate to say it. He might be better than Drake Jackson. I'm taking Zach Harrison. All right. Now we're at pick 101. So we pick 101 and 102. Atlanta's calling. They're offering move back 9 spots for next year's 5th. I'll reject that trade. The Chargers are calling, asking to move up again, offering the exact same thing they were offering for 99. Now they're offering it again for 101. I'm going to reject that. So now we're kind of looking at the same people. They've got a defensive end. Do you go Tyler Steen? Go with the offensive tackle? I kind of like some of the offensive tackles later in the draft. I like Jonathan Mingo. Really like Hampton, but I just want edge rusher. Jair Brown is going to be a hard guy for me to pass on, just because he was the MVP of the Rose Bowl against Utah. He's got crazy measurables, really crazy measurables. But I'm going to go with Jamie Robinson. I just have a great feel about Jamie Robinson from Florida State. He's an alpha. I think they need an alpha in their secondary. I love this kid's approach. I'm taking Jamie Robinson. All right, now I've got pick number 102, and the Falcons are calling, and they're saying you can move back to pick 110 and gain pick 159. Now, this is really intriguing. I'm going to reject it. Even though normally I would say absolutely I'm making that move, but I'll reject it just because we're gonna pick where we are unless the trades are just overwhelming. So what have you got so far? You got an edge rusher and you got a safety. Now do you go best player available? Abanaconda is a fast running back. Steen I really like, but there's some other tackles I like. I like Tanner McKee, but he's not very mobile. Jonathan Mingo is a really good receiver, but I don't even know that he can make my football team. There's so many good receivers on the Niners. I love Jair Brown, but now you don't need Jair Brown. You got Jamie Robinson. So I'll go further down the list. Do I go offensive line with McClendon Curtis? He's probably more of a guard. Do I go with the burner at wide receiver, Bryce Ford Wheaton? You know, he wasn't very productive. I know he ran a great 40 time, but he wasn't very productive. This is kind of difficult. Jaron Hall's an interesting quarterback prospect. I really like this guy, Ajomo from Texas as well. And then there's Luke Schoonmaker and Corey Trice. Trice is a big corner from Purdue who's got some good workout numbers. And Schoonmaker is a really good looking tight end as well. You know, this is really difficult. Jacorian Bennett from Maryland is a corner that I really like. I really like Clayton Tune, the quarterback from Houston. But you know what? Now that I look at this list, I'm going Riley Moss. Riley Moss is a really good corner from Iowa, played on a terrific defense. Niners play a lot of zone. This is one of the best zone corners I think I've seen in a long time. I'm taking Riley Moss out of Iowa right there. So those are the top 3 picks. Now the 49ers have to wait. They don't have a 4th round pick. So now we're rolling through round 5, and here we are. We're at pick 155. So now let's look at the board as well. Who's the best player on the board? Where's their value? I really like Moro Ajomo from Texas. 6'3", 300 pounds. Really like Ajomo. I'm considering that. Schoonmaker's still there. Corey Trice is still there. But I like some of the day 3 corners. This is a tough one. Demario Douglas is a player I really like. Rajon Wright is a player I really like. Dorian Thompson-Robinson. You know, if somehow you made a move with the quarterback early and now you need a quarterback, maybe you go DTR right here. Ali Gay is a terrific blue chip edge rusher from LSU. Really like Ali Gay, 6'6", 250, 260, comes flying off the edge. Sidey Sow from Eastern Michigan is a Canadian guard. Really like him quite a bit. Deuce Vaughn, Cameron Mitchell, Keaton Mitchell. Now I may want to go Keaton Mitchell here because I love that speedster. It's really difficult, but I think I'm gonna go with the Michigan tight end, Schoonmaker. He had a phenomenal on-campus workout. He can put on weight. I think he can help you in the run game. I think he can help you in the pass game. I'm going Luke Schoonmaker. Now we're picking at 164. So it's basically we're still in that 5th round range. Do I go 5th round corner, Rajon Wright? Do I go DTR? The guy that really is intriguing to me is this running back right here. Now, Terrell Smith is an interesting guy as well. Yaya Diaby from Louisville's an interesting player as well. A lot of people like Max Duggan, who had a nice workout. Jake Hayner's on the board. There's a lot of interesting players sitting right here for sure. But the guy who's just an absolute difference maker is the running back from East Carolina. You got to see this guy, Keaton Mitchell. 2 steps, full speed. To me, this guy is like your Raheem Mostert. I'm taking Keaton Mitchell. It's not really a need pick as much as it is. There we go. He's too explosive, too fast. One of the things that I think the Niners could use more of is a little bit more speed in the backfield so that they have a guy that they can, run the ball with who can bust one and take it to the house. Keaton, I think, can also help you on special teams. He is a difference maker speed wise. All right, now here we go. Now you're at pick 173, and you can move back 15 spots and throw pick 255 and move up 54 spots there. So that's interesting. Let's do we take that? Do we move? You're still going to have 2 picks, but do you maneuver a little bit there? I'm going to reject that. I'll reject it, even though probably a pretty good value right there. So now, let's see what we got. Now you got pick 173. You're looking at a bunch of different spots. You go big corner and Rajon Wright. This Baldonado edge rusher from Pittsburgh is very interesting. Very interesting. Then there's DTR sitting right there. Do you go DTR at pick 173? Do you go Ali Gay, give another edge rusher? They looked at Juice Scruggs, the center from Penn State, but they've picked up Feliciano. I don't think they have a need there. You could go Jake Hayner from Fresno State. Incombs from Central Michigan is a really interesting player as well, an edge rusher. They looked at Antonio Maffei, the guard from UCLA. It's a lot of interesting players here. I really like Malik Cunningham. Now you're getting into where the part of the draft where you got to kind of look further down the board and see if there's anybody there. And you got Fehoko from San Jose State. This might not be a bad spot for Fehoko. I think you need a couple defensive ends. Davis Allen, but you already drafted the tight end. Matt Landers, the wide receiver from Arkansas. I really like Matt Landers. So that's a tough one. Now, do we start looking around by position? Let's see who's the best wide receivers. They don't really need a wide receiver. They got Keaton Mitchell, who could kind of be flexed out. They don't have an offensive tackle yet. Let's see who's the best offensive tackle. Kind of like the Oregon kid. I'm a big fan of Alex Palszewski, who's right there at 361. But you could probably get him a little bit later on. Let's flip over to the defensive tackle spot because you can never have enough big boys inside. Kind of like Carl Brooks from Bowling Green. He's interesting. It's not as deep a class. I like this Adam Mailola from Notre Dame, but he's more of a later round pick. All right, let's check the edge rushers because this is a very deep edge rusher class. Brenton Cox from Florida, Baldonado from Pitt, Gay from LSU, Incombe. There's some good players here. Fehoko. There's a lot of good players there. Tavius Robinson, Brevin Allen, like all those guys. Linebacker, there's not really a need at linebacker. There's Marte Mapu, but I don't think I'm going that direction. There's Rajon Wright, who's a big corner. There's Darrell Luter, who I really like a lot as well. This is tough. I think in this situation, I'm going quarterback. I think I'm going DTR. Or do I go Jake Hayner? Do I go Jake Hayner or DTR? That's the question. Or do you go Max Duggan? I think I'm going to go Jake Hayner. Jake Hayner played a lot of football, MVP of the Senior Bowl. It's hard to pass on Jake Hayner. All right, now we're at pick 216 at the end of the sixth round. So now I really believe in this part of the draft. You just got to play the best available. You just look for who you like, who's on the board. That you feel like now Elijah Higgins is interesting, but you already went for Schoonmaker. Higgins is a wide receiver from Stanford. I think I'm going Fehoko here. Defensive player of the year in the conference. Now we're at pick 22. We're in the seventh round. Um, Still going with the best available. I think I'm going back to wide receiver here because there's a wide receiver, this kid Matt Landers from Arkansas, 6'5" and runs in the 4.3s. Really like what I saw from Matt Landers. I'm going to say take Matt Landers at that point. Now we're at pick 247, and we still have three more picks: 247, 253, 255. So let's take a look at everybody on the board and see who could they get at this point who's a steal. Now you're just rolling down the list and seeing who's there. Now, Davis Allen is a very good tight end. He's still on the board. I know Jordan Elliott's a big fan of his. And I know, I think I'm going to go Marte Mapu. I like Mapu from Sac State. Taking him, taking Mapu. Now, I don't think I've gone corner, so let's take a look at the corner market. And this is where the one thing about corners, I think you can get some good guys late. And I like this guy right here, Darrell Luter Jr., cornerback from South Alabama. Really like him. Now let's see if there's another corner here that maybe is interesting. Mekhi Blackman. A lot of people like Mekhi Blackman. That's an interesting one. This is your last pick of the day. So you got to make it count. And I probably am going to go back to another spot. Yeah, I like some. It starts to thin out here on the bottom of the corner bracket. There's some linebackers I really like as well that are going to be here. I love Michael Jones from Syracuse, but the need is really not there. I don't know that there's a need there. Now let's take a look at the edge rushers. Is there an edge rusher that's really good? Brevin Allen from Campbell, I think, is a pretty good player. I go to the edge rusher. Oh, Dawan Johnson from Toledo. To me, this is a choice between Dawan Johnson from Toledo, and if you go further down the list here, you're going to see Jose Ramirez from Eastern Michigan. I've loved to have both of those guys, but I want them both. But to me, I've watched too much film of this Dawan Johnson from Toledo. He's phenomenal. So I'm going Dawan Johnson out of Toledo. So there you go. There is the draft. It was Zach Harrison from the Buckeyes, round 1, defensive end. Then Jamie Robinson, the safety from Florida State. Then defense again, Riley Moss, the corner from Iowa. Then we go offense with Luke Schoonmaker from Michigan. We go offense again with Keaton Mitchell from East Carolina. We went offense again with Jake Hayner, the quarterback from Fresno State. We went defense with Viliami Fehoko. We went wide receiver with Matt Landers, who's a difference maker. We went linebacker slash safety in Marte Mapu. We went Darrell Luter, cornerback from South Alabama, and we finished with Dawan Johnson from Toledo. And what you'll see in here is that we didn't get a right tackle. And I think it's pretty, when the Niners signed Matt Pryor, I think there's a very good chance that they're going to have a hard time finding a right tackle that can beat out Colton McKivitz. I think right tackle for the Niners this year could be like safety in the draft last year, where they just go with, we all think they're going safety last year. They didn't. This year, we all think they're going right tackle, and I just think the draft is not going to play itself out that way. But to me, this is mission accomplished. Why? Because what'd you do? You got You got a plug and play starter at defensive end, Zach Harrison. You got a true alpha headhunter deluxe in Jamie Robinson, who I just love Jamie Robinson. You get one of the best zone corners in the game in Riley Moss, who I think is a difference maker. Great football player. Schoonmaker from Michigan. He's got some upside. I loved his on-campus workout. 6'6" kid who could put on 10 pounds. I think he could easily be their number 2 linebacker, or number 2 tight end, I should say. Keaton Mitchell's a home run hitter, running back from East Carolina. Huge, huge speed. You get another quarterback in Jake Haener. As you saw in this mock draft, guys, you had your pick around 164, 173. You could have gone with DTR, Clayton Tune, Jake Haener. There were several guys available. I went with Haener just off of the collegiate production, the MVP of the Senior Bowl. Um, I could have very easily gone DTR right there. Fehoko gives them another edge rusher. He's got some size, very productive. Landers is just, to me, I mean, he's so big, so fast. I mean, it would be so intriguing to just think of a guy that's the size of Jawan Jennings, but has the speed of like Danny Gray. I mean, Landers is really intriguing. It's a little bit of a home run pick, and there's not much of a need there, and he's gonna have a hard time making the roster. So I could go in a different direction there. Marte Mapu is one of my very favorite players, just because I think he's a special team dynamo. To me, I see a lot of the same traits that I see with Hafanga, but even a little bit better coverage player. Tight coverage. I like what I see from Mapu. He tore the pec muscle a couple weeks ago, so he may not be ready to roll. Daryl Luter, I think, is a nice corner with some good size, really long arms, and a guy who really played good football for South Alabama. And then Dawan Johnson. Dawan Johnson is no picnic, and he's really strong. I also like Tyrus Wheat from Mississippi State. He's going to be there. I love the kid Ramirez, Jose Ramirez from Eastern Michigan, but I'll go with Dawan Johnson right there, who's got a little bit more size, a little bit more of what the Niners are looking for. So, you definitely took care of your defense. You added a number of players on defense. You gave your offense big playability. You got another quarterback. You got 3 nice weapons in Schoonmaker, Keaton Mitchell, and Matt Landers. The only thing you didn't get in this draft was the tackle. So maybe, the one guy that I really loved that I think is going to be a day 3 pick is the Illinois right tackle, Palszewski, who finished his career by going like 170 pass rush or pass blocking snaps without allowing a sack. Really good pass protector, tough, plays hurt. I love Palszewski, especially like around 5, 6, 7, late day 3. He's had a wrestling background. He's an academic All-American. Just a lot to like about Palszewski from Illinois. So maybe you can get him after the draft. But if this were their draft, you're adding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 defensive players. And you're replacing those edge rushers you lost. You got 2 defensive backs. You got 3 defensive backs that I think are all terrific. Luter, Moss, and Jamie Robinson. Overall, I like it. Of course I like it. I'm the one who picked the players. All right. Hope you enjoyed our Krueg Show mock draft 2.0. We'll be doing it every Saturday between now and the draft. So last time we got an 18-player draft and 7 extra picks for next year's draft. This year we did not trade anybody. We just picked, and I like what we picked. I absolutely like what we picked. If the Niners have that draft, that's going to be very, very exciting. But I'm a little biased. All right. Thanks for supporting the Krueg Show. Thanks for checking out Pig in a Pickle. They're 2 locations. They're open 7 days a week in Corte Madera from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. And they're open Wednesday through Sunday in Emeryville, inside the Emeryville Public Marketplace. And thanks for supporting the Krueg Show on YouTube.